I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, right? But no matter where I go, you'll never let me down, right? I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, right? Yeah, but no matter where I go, you'll never let me down, right? How I feel being the one that's tapped into the plug, right? I ain't talking to you in street code. I'm just talking to you like heroes. Standing so tall, I don't see foes. Under pressure, it's really free throws. Meaning the easiest shots, the hardest to take. When you got thoughts on your brain that try to tell you you can't. But I know I can. This is not my plan. I really see God's hands like.
Man, what a long day. But I'm excited to get on the bike and get this training done. I'll let you guys know now that I will not be bringing my action camera because I've got to do sprints and I don't really like carrying it in my back, you know, because you lean forward and, well, I mean, I guess I could, you know, because the little mouth mount allows it to kind of stay in my jersey pocket. But got some sprints today. I actually have, where's my phone at? Oh, I actually have 2 hours and 42 minutes on the tab today. I'm doing just a simple warm up, and then 15-second sprints, and then some endurance in between. Man, I really would love to be able to have my 15-second consistently in the 1000s, because right now it is not there. I think it's in the 800s for 15 seconds. I mean, you know, which isn't too bad, but I want it to be higher because, you know, I just want to be stronger. I mean, who doesn't want to be stronger on the bike? But this training will probably kick my ass. I will say that, which I'm happy it will, because if not, if the training's not kicking your ass, then you ain't getting the right training. You know, I'm honestly extremely overwhelmed with the whole handlebars selection. There's so much stuff, and I have really bad anxiety when it comes to like not fitting on my bike, because I don't want to be in pain when I'm on the bike and getting the wrong stuff, because I do want a one piece, and everybody's like, oh, you know, get a one piece and there's a, you know, cosmetically it looks better, and then get a two piece so you can swap the stem out and this, that, and the third. And for me, I want to ride my bike that I got, so I'm leaning more towards the two piece, because I can get on the bike faster. All I have to do is just order the bars, and they measure at, you know, 38 centimeters, 40, 42, whatever it is. I believe my current ones are 38. So I'm going to just say screw it and just order the specialized Rapide Roval ones, the two-piece setup. And then, you know, I can upgrade later down the line and, you know, do a brake bleed and do the internal cable routing and all that stuff. You know, so it looks good. Kind of stuck there with doing that, but I want to get on the bike as fast as I can. You know, we got some group rides planned up this Saturday that I want to be able to ride that nice shiny bike that, you know, I purchased, you know. So still running good old Faithful. She looks good, you know. She's got a nice profile to it. She was not like this whenever I first got the bike at all. You know, she looked like a pimp squeak. You know, I got some good wheels on it, but these are the bars that I have now. Something from Amazon, nothing crazy. You know, but it's like you get used to what you're used to, and it's like, oh, you know, do I swap these over? But I think conceptually, as long as from here to here it's 38. That's what my last fit says. This is a 110 stem. I'ma just go with it. I'ma just get a 38, call it a day, try to overnight it so I can have it for my fit here coming soon. So yeah, that's the plan, you know. I don't want to be waiting forever to ride my bike. It's about that time to get on this white beast. Let me know what y'all think. Like, do y'all have a hard time picking, you know, what bars you want and the measurements and just the vast amount of information that's out there in regard to picking the right stem, and I believe this bike, well, not believe, I know this bike it's a endurance bike. It's the Allay from 2015, 2017, somewhere around there. I think it's underneath here, the year, but it's an endurance bike. So like getting a race bike makes all that stuff different, you know. I know the race bikes are typically the rider is a little bit more stretched out so they can be more aero. So like, I don't know, I might end up being on a 120 stem, or who knows, you know. But yeah, I want to hear what y'all think, whoever's watching it. What is your journey with picking bars? You know, are you going Chinese? Are you sticking to the brand that the bike brand builds? So like for Specialized, they build the Roval. I've heard great things about Tavello, you know, from like NorCal, and I think Lucas Burgoyne uses that. You know, I just want to get the right thing so when I get on the bike, it's comfortable and I don't have like numb hands or my shoulders are pinching. Like, I want to be completely comfortable on the bike because I know what it feels like to not be comfortable on the bike. Yeah, just gonna get underway here. It's 5 o'clock. I got 3 hours.
I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, right? But no matter where I go, you'll never let me down, right? I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, right? Yeah, but no matter where I go, you'll never let me down, right? How I feel being the one that's tapped into the plug, right? I ain't talking to you in street code. I'm just talking to you like heroes. Standing so tall, I don't see foes. Under pressure, it's really free throws. Meaning the easiest shots, the hardest to take. When you got thoughts on your brain that try to tell you you can't. But I know I can, this is not my plan. I really see God's hands like, be patient, slow motion is motion. Don't be anxious, God got it, we coasting. If you don't tell me to move, then I'm posty. Hold our head to the sky, we not hopeless. Yeah, I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, right?
So if there's one thing I suck at, it's sprints. It is sprints. That is my bane. That is my kryptonite. That is my weakness. So yeah, did 4x5 or no? What was it the other day? It was. Let me double check. Yeah, it was 15-second sprints. Yeah. So like, all reliable. Right? Gotta love her. You know, she's got some hard time shifting. Haven't really messed with that much. You know, you're supposed to be able to shift when you are sprinting. But for me, when my hands are in the drops, the shifters feel kind of far. So like, are y'all moving them? You know, is there a way to shift those to where it look, if they're closer to your finger? So like, you know, when you're in the drops, you put your fingers out and your fingers are right on the shifters. But right now mine's mechanical. So like, you got to press that thing in like all the way for it to engage. And then sometimes, you know, with just the wear and tear of it, it doesn't shift, or it'll overshift and it'll shift into the next cog, but it'll like shift in a half, if you know what I mean. Like, and then the chain's clicking, and I gotta shift back to get the rear derailleur in line. So I think that has to do with just having an old cassette, because my first race of the season, my chain messed up, and I found out that, you know, I was Zwifting all winter. Shout out to Zwift. I love you guys, and you kept me on the bike all winter. But it was my fault that I did not do any maintenance on my bike after the winter going into the race season. So the chain ring and the cassette and the chain were all worn out. So like the chain ring, the teeth, they're not supposed to be pointy. They're supposed to be somewhat flat. I know Shimano and SRAM have their own like proprietary ways that they build their chain rings and their shifting mechanisms and things of that nature. But essentially, you know, the cassette is probably too old. I need to get it replaced. But I'm waiting for the new bike. So yeah, had like, I think 5 or 6 or 7 sprints, and then like, you know, maybe 5 minutes in between or something like that. And I wanted to get 1,000 watts each, but couldn't get there. Good news is every sprint that I did, except for one, was max power over 1,000. I think my max watt sprint is like 12 and some change, which is pretty good. I'm like 100. So yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, it was a interesting workout. I gotta work on my sprint. Hopefully my new bike will help out with that, because it's DI2. I will be showing that in the next video. I actually will. I'll give you a sneak peek. Don't know what this is. Gonna be opening in the next video. Peace out. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.